Good afternoon, everybody. I uh, I guess I'm live and waiting for some people to show up. So, how's everybody doing? I see so far. I see Night Train and a few other people who haven't made their presence known yet. So, let me know who's out there. Let me know who you are. I've sent out some invitations as usual for the hangout, and check my email here. I don't believe that anybody's replied to me yet. No, I didn't send the invites. There you go. Good thing I looked. And okay, we'll see if somebody pops in. Who else we got? We got Thomas O'Sullivan. How you doing? Above and Beyond. Jim, how you doing? How you doing? I just sent the links out, so feel free to chime in and help me out here. Uh-oh, my phone is ringing. Let's see who that is. I think that's an email. And who's emailing? Chris Hope. Okay, looks like Chris Hope's going to join us too. That's great. You know, these things are always kind of slow getting started, and I sit here and I see some of these people who do their live streams, and they just sit and just talk to the people in the chat room and sit there quietly for a while. But I don't know. I feel like I have the responsibility of entertaining. So until we get things really rolling here, and we get a bunch of people join in, I'll play some little. Oh, here comes somebody here, and turn your sound off there, Jim. On your got it?
Yeah, I did it.
Oh, okay. How you doing?
Good, my man. How are you?
Good. Hey, thanks for coming in here and keeping me company. The first few minutes of these things. What I really should do is I probably should put together 5 or 10 minutes of video to just play with a little music until everybody chimes in. But
you know what? I did get your email. I didn't know if I should answer it because you said you were going to send the invites out at 6 p.m.
Okay. Yeah, and I did. I had forgotten. I had the email all ready to go, and then I mentioned about it. And look who's here. Oh, my God.
Art.
It's Art. Got a new first. Art's on my show.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me. I finally got in.
Good. Well, it's nice to have some new people in here. And if you ever want me on your show for some strange reason, just let me know.
Sure.
Yeah. So how's everything out? How's everything in Colorado?
It's going good. We got a beautiful day today. Low 70s. Finally stopped raining here. So looking good.
Oh, that's great. Here, let me say hello to some people just popped in. We got Mike Roche. Mike, I saw you on Ken Herron. I saw you on Ken Herron, and I just hope from here on out that you'll pay attention to us little people. You know what I mean?
Hey, watch with the little people.
Yeah, Hart, you've been on Ken Herron too, haven't you?
Yes, back in January.
Yeah, Jim, you ever been on Ken Herron?
No, what would I do on there?
He played one of my videos once and just cut it all up and put weird music to it, but it was still flattering that I don't know whether he was laughing at me or enjoyed it, but that was my early claim to fame was being on Ken Herron's.
He does a good job. He tries to make it like his radio show, right?
Yeah, and he really Mike, you're out there, Mike Roche. He gave you just a wonderful welcome and said you were one of his favorite YouTube guys. So that was a tremendous compliment, and I thought it was nice of him to say that.
Hey, Mitch.
Chris, how you doing?
Good. Hey, Art.
Hey, Chris. Finally got to meet you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I still can't. I promise you, in June sometime, I'll holler at you, man.
Super. Yeah, I'm trying to get him on my show, and things just didn't work out. And I've got Michael from Philly Drone Life on Saturday.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Well, we love Mike. He's kind of a regular
yeah. Look at
around
that
here.
dynamic range.
Oh yeah, the dynamic range.
Wowzer.
The love of God.
Wowzer.
He's been on. He's had like 2 live streams already today. I don't know if he'll be on. I sent him a text, but he wears himself out by 2, 3 o'clock, and then he goes to sleep. And sometimes he doesn't wake up in time. But if he's up, he usually stops in. And
Wonderful.
yeah, and I like Mike. Very, very, very entertaining. Very
Yes, he is.
entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Yeah,
One of a kind of guy.
yeah. I keep threatening to go up there. I'm from Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I keep threatening to one of these days just to jump in my car and drive up there and go flying with him.
There you go. Where are you at now?
I'm down in Melbourne, Florida.
Oh, nice.
Melbourne, Florida. I don't know if you know where that is. It's about 30 miles south of the Cape.
Right.
Canaveral. Yeah.
There's I don't know. Is there still a comedy club there?
If there is, I don't know about it. I don't get to many comedy clubs, but
well, back in my comedy days, I was trying to get booked in the club there in Melbourne, but I did work in Orlando. Where else? Tallahassee and Panama City.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of comedy clubs.
Oh yeah, they're
in
all
Orlando.
over the place in Florida, down in Miami, up in Jacksonville. Boy, yep.
Hey, Peter Carroll, how you doing? And Whiz Bang, how you guys doing? Just saw you in the chat there. Paul, Phantom Hodges Drone, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for coming by. So any of you guys been doing any flying? Jim, I saw you posted something the other day down there in the highway there.
Yeah, they're doing a lot down here, Mitch. That they keep building, and so now they have to accommodate the population with the roadways. And as you know, these roadways here, guys, they started out, everything was 2 lanes, and you were lucky if it was paved. And now everything's got to go into 4 lanes, and they're building condos and apartments.
Oh, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Jim lives about 10 miles south of me. That's about it. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I know exactly what he's talking about. And I was just up in Vieira today, and it can, around the avenues of Vieira there, Jim, they're just building like crazy, and the prices they get for that stuff is insane.
It's all built in wood. All those condos are in wood.
Yeah, they frame it out, and framing is not a bad way to build. It holds up. It holds up in storms if you do it right. And you do it to code.
Mm-hmm. Here in Denver, it's really growing here too. The apartments going up everywhere. We just added a million people in the last 10 years.
Holy back, really?
Yeah,
That's a lot of folks.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to get another congressional seat this next census.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. I can't imagine 1 million people.
Yeah, in Colorado. Wow.
Yeah, 100,000 a month coming in. Oh boy.
What are they doing? What are they working or?
Well, there's a lot of companies that are coming to Denver. What started this whole thing was the marijuana became legal in Colorado, and all the stoners from everywhere in the country who got tired of going to wherever they want to come here because they want to go skiing. And after skiing, what do? They light up, and the summers are not bad. They get hot, but the nights are cool. But it gets pretty darn cold here. So these people had to find jobs. So we had a lot of cheap labor, and so these people had to find jobs to buy their dope, I guess. And that brought in companies coming in saying, "Hey, look, there's a bunch of people in Colorado, and sadly, they're coming from California, New York, and Illinois." And I keep wanting to tell them, "Hey, thanks for visiting, but go home."
Yeah, they bring their votes with them too when they come
Yeah.
from California and New York, and that's what's happening to us down here in Florida.
Well, I keep telling them, well, we have avalanches here, we have mountain lions, we have elk that'll attack you. It's dangerous here.
Yeah, go home,
Go
everybody.
home. Don't move here.
Has the marijuana, I mean, the legalization of pot, has it had a lot of bad effects that you've seen on life in general out there? Is it?
Well, what it's done to the neighboring states, they don't like it because people come here, buy it, and they take it back. And a lot of people are getting pulled over in Nebraska, Kansas, and so forth. And it's also bringing in some of the harder drugs. The heroin is really taken off here. Even our insane legislators, they wanted to have safe injection sites here in Denver. And luckily, enough people complained and they listened, and they killed that idea. However, Denver passed an ordinance to decriminalize psilocybin mushrooms.
No.
Why? You're going back with LSD and all that? What are you doing there?
I have no idea. The city, Denver, is insane with some of the things. Oh, they had an initiative on the ballot just recently to allow homeless people to camp in public places.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough that we gotta, watch out for poop on the sidewalk and needles everywhere.
Yeah, it sounds like you're living in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, and that's what I worry about. That we're becoming San Francisco, and not to make this a political show, but our legislature just flipped, and now it's totally Democrat, and well, they've gone insane. They want to kill the oil and gas industry in the state, which is the biggest employer in the state.
Mike Roche, absolutely, Mike. I was wondering where you were. Come right in, join us. What was I saying? Yeah, I have a hard time, when I watch the political nonsense going on, not talking about it, and I try to, because a lot of people on both sides, and you want,
Right.
We have something in common that kind of goes past politics. You can be friends with somebody if you disagree with them politically, especially if you have something else in common. And I don't, and the nastiness, there's no discussion
Right.
anymore. There's nothing but name calling and arguing and
Violence.
absolute lunacy. It's beyond stupid.
Right.
Stupid what's going on these days in Washington and everywhere else. And so what we all do is we all watch those news outlets that we agree with,
Right.
and you know, you look for a little dose of sanity, whichever side you're on. But
right.
somebody's got to start obeying the law again in this country, or
Chris Hope, we're seeing pretty much the same problems that Art is seeing. Are you getting any of this in Texas?
Well, not to get too political, because it does.
I think we're all on the same side. I think we can pretty well assume that.
Yeah,
I can go around here. Everybody's basically Republican, and nobody has a problem with the president and such as that. But if you go to like Austin, Texas,
oh yeah,
it's basically a Democratic society down there. And I've got a kid that lives there, and that's fine. I mean, I don't care. I'm not going to love him any less, and he's not going to love me any less. My oldest boy lives here within 10 minutes of me, and he's not a Trump fan. He's more of a Democratic side. But yeah, it's everywhere. Trump, in my opinion, has done well for the United States. Is better than they've been in the last several years. But
yes,
if he could just stay off Twitter.
Oh well, that's where you and I. That's where I actually would encourage him to be on Twitter, because the stuff that he does put on Twitter it's one of the few ways he has to get the truth out.
Well, I agree
with this media and anything. Look, I'm a conservative. I'm a libertarian. There's a lot about the conservative stuff that doesn't fit in with me. There's a lot about the liberal. I'm basically a kind of a social liberal. Everybody stay out of the government, stay out of my business, leave me alone. Let me do what I want to do. I'm a fiscal conservative, but I'm a patriot. I served in the military. I'm an American. I honor the flag. And it just seems to me that this new stream of liberals that we have today just hate this country. And, why? So if you hate the country, what are you trying to do? You want to try to turn it into a third world country? You want to turn it into a Middle Eastern country?
If you hate it so bad, why are you here?
Why are you still here? Why haven't you left yet?
Well, and I feel the same, and I feel the same way. But I think that the biggest problem, unfortunately, that we have in this country is the media, because most of these people, they don't know what to think. They don't know the truth. All they hear is what they're spoon fed by this media that's all reading off the same talking points every morning.
Oh, and it's also the education system, the schools and colleges and universities. That's why Austin is such a liberal town, because it's a college town.
Yeah,
and that's where it all starts. If we could get back our education system, then we could make changes and kind of bring this sanity back in. Oh, and by the way, Trump is here in Colorado at the graduation ceremony.
Yeah, I saw the speech.
Air Force Academy.
Yeah, I saw the speech, and at any rate, that's I think most grown-ups in this country are lean more conservative, and I think the young kids, and they want to lower the voting age to 16. Why don't we let 12-year-olds vote while we're at it?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. And then I heard somebody today suggested maybe we should raise the voting age to 21. To me, that makes more sense. To me, 35 years old makes more sense than anything.
Until you've lived some life and had the trials and tribulations that go along with that life,
and understand something other than what your teacher tells you is reality. But that's neither here nor there. We got drones.
There we go.
And we got Mike Roche in here. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, if you want politics, go to Art Place. That's my
okay.
my other show with Lloyd Mendenhall, the grumpy vlogger.
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
You got it, Art. So you know who I like to watch every day, believe it or not, is Dan Bongino. Anybody watch him? Dan Bongino. if you want to just watch 1 hour of reality of what's going on, this is the guy to watch. He's
Right.
terrific, and he's got a show. He's on YouTube, but he's big. He actually sub-hosted the Sean Hannity show the other night. So he's
Oh,
not
cool.
he's not
Oh,
an
really?
unknown guy. He's an
Yeah.
ex-military, ex-secret service, martial arts, ultra
Oh, I know the guy
libertarian,
you're talking about.
conservative, and he's a smart as an absolute whip, and
Right.
he has a circle of people that he gets his information from,
Right.
and he has the power to analyze this stuff and make sense out of so much of it. And it's a great hour, and he's just really entertaining too. He's just a funny guy, and he's doing this YouTube show, and I don't know how he's got 1 million subscribers or not, but he's written some books, and pretty well
Is it
known.
just under his name?
What's that?
Is it just under his name?
Yeah, Dan Bongino, Dan Bongino.
Right. I'm pretty sure I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
you
like him. I like him.
Not,
Yeah, he's
John,
terrific.
not John Bon Jovi.
No, not John Bon Jovi, Dan Bongino. But he's one that I really there's some other guys that have channels, and of course I've subscribed to them, so I get notified when they come on. And some of them I can take about 2-3 minutes of, and that's about it, even though they're still conservative. But this guy Dan Bongino, his show, I get notified about 1:30 every afternoon, and if I have time, I'll. And the good news is you don't have. It's not a live show. He actually
Right.
pre-records it. So no, it's good. It's good. So how'd you, Mike? Like Roche? Let's talk about the big event last week.
A big appearance.
Yeah. Did you get 10,000 subs out of that?
No, but I have the things are in the works, Mitch.
Yeah.
Hopefully to get me a few more subs anyway. No, that was just I sent him in a video that obviously had a couple of legality
I
question
remember.
marks.
Yeah.
We talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
we talked
One or two, Mike, was all.
he wrote back to me, and and I was like, well, so I watched it just in case he was gonna use it or whatever, and so I put my name in the chat, and sure enough, that wasn't planned. He just saw me, and and he had the video all queued up and ready to go.
You
So,
recognized your name, huh?
Yeah. So we had fun with that, and so that was just a fun thing, and I really enjoyed it. There was no being starstruck or anything like that. He's a down to earth guy. He just has 90,000 people, which is good for him.
Mhm.
Did you have to ask his permission to actually take that part of the video and put it on your own channel?
Yeah, I asked. I was talking with Jeff Sills there, the news guy.
Yeah.
And Jeff asked Ken. He said it was fine.
Okay.
And then-
Yeah, I was just I was sure you did, but
Yeah, because I would have never put a 10-minute clip up of someone else's show without clearly
Right.
getting the permission. So.
well,
yeah.
that was great. I enjoyed it because I had I had ended our deal here at 8:00.
Right.
And then I went and I ate a little something, and then it was like 8:30, 8:45, and I said, let me grab a cigar. I'll go sit out on the screen porch, and I'll watch the end of Ken Hearn. And that was just about exactly the time that you came on.
Right. Well, that was fun. It's just another show. It just happens to be bigger, and he obviously has all the radio station equipment and all that stuff, so he can make it look really polished, and all that. But it was fun. But you're the first person, Mitch, that ever let me on a live stream. And I was terrified, believe me, going in front
I
of
remember.
all these people.
I remember. Listen, I got to beg people to come on this thing. I'm not like Ken Hearn here. I got 9 people watching. That's pathetic.
That's why I say, Mike, I don't know what I would do on his show. He's
Yeah.
pretty much done it all.
Yeah. Well, it's I guess they have, Ken's a radio guy, so he has the gift of gab anyway.
Yeah.
But
He knows how to fill time.
I got the sound effects here, I got sound effects,
There you go.
Right.
And you got Spank.
I got Spank, the monkey. Yes. I got the monkey. And in fact, if I want to take a break, I just leave the monkey here in my place, you see, and let him just sit there and moderate. Let me get myself back in here. There we go.
When I was on Ken's show earlier this year, unbeknownst to me, he pulled up one of my old comedy videos.
I remember that. I saw your appearance on
yeah,
Ken's show.
which was kind of cool. And what really blew me away is he remembered me from seeing me on TV back in the 90s. I'm like going, wow.
Wow, that's really, that's something.
It was a TV show that I did out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And evidently that guy sold some of the video to HBO, which owned, I think, the Comedy Channel at the time. And they had a couple shows where they would show little snippets of comics doing their bits. One of them was Short Attention Span Theater, which I think was where my clip showed up on.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that show.
Yeah, this is like
What was the gist of it, Art? What was the gist of it? Short Attention Span Theater.
Oh, it was just like really 1 or 2 minute snippets of comics doing their stand-up comedy and kind of showing comics from all over the country and different clubs here and there. And I wasn't supposed to be on that show. I was just the opening act. Normally they would have the feature and the headliner would be on the show, but the host, it was during March Madness, and he wanted to watch the basketball game instead. So he just let all three of us go up, do our material. We had to do like our TV material, so we couldn't get too outrageous out there. So I went up and did mine, and it went fairly well and had a lot of fun.
That's cool.
That's a tough racket being a stand-up comic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The hard part is the driving, because I lived here in Denver and most of my work was in the Midwest and the Southeast. And if you want to work in the West, well, you had to do even more driving, especially in the mountains, which I don't really recommend any comics doing.
Rough
It's
crowd.
not as glorious as it seems, huh?
Yeah, and the booking, you constantly calling up clubs and agents and managers and trying to nail them down for dates. And I have one of these calendar books. I would fill it in. Yeah, I'm working here this day, this day. Most of the work that I did was like one-nighters where, okay, Wednesday I'm in Tallahassee. Thursday I'm in Macon, Georgia. Friday I'm in Goldsboro, North Carolina, and just stuff like that. And fortunately, in the Midwest, the clubs are a lot closer. And I got to drive all over Michigan, which is where I used to live back in the 70s. And I got to see a lot more of the state, which was cool.
So who's been doing some flying lately besides me? I've been FPVing.
Well, it's
Still
been
learning.
a little over a week. I was down in Pueblo and managed to get some flying in. Down there it gets windy during the day, so I got up early in the morning and did some flying, flew around Pueblo West, which is kind of sparsely developing area, which is slowly starting to fill up. And got some cool video, which I'm going to try and get uploaded this weekend.
Cool. Yeah, I took my actually. You guys, did you guys see my video about Elva, the 100-year-old lady that lives?
Yes.
Right.
Did you see? Yeah, that was my last time I had the Mavic up, was following her around on her bicycle, and she doesn't go too fast, so it wasn't really all that challenging of of a shoot. But she's a hoot, and you know, I made that video for her because I promised her that I would make it for her 100th birthday, and
Cool.
so when I made the last video for her, I don't know, 6-8 months ago or 6 months ago, whenever it was, she comes over here and gives me a $25 gift card to the Wawa, you know, the gas station. Do you guys have Wawas where you are? No, it's a big, you know, like Speedway, one of these big gas station chains. Yeah, and so she gave me a $25 gift card to thank me for making the video for her, and she came and she come knocking on the door this afternoon with another $25 gift card.
Oh man.
So I wonder if I need it. You know, I'm glad I got a 107 license.
There you go.
Yeah, they're out of Pennsylvania, and they're employee owned, and they are just springing up everywhere down here in Florida.
Oh God!
Wow.
Drone Shots just asked me a question. Let me see if I figure out. Mitch, I sure wish you would use SketchUp and that new frame you have. Take a picture of it so we could copy it for a 3D print. You talking about this Marmot frame here? Now I don't have any 3D software, but I don't know if a 3D print would really be strong enough, because even the hardest plastic would probably break. But no, I don't know how to take 3D pictures. But it's a thought. Boy, I'll tell you. Speaking of this drone, I got
Cool.
this is my new custom build that I'm doing, and I'm gathering all the
Nice.
parts now. So and I made the video. I don't know if you saw it yesterday or the day before, just unwrapping the frame part, and I haven't really started building anything. But this came in today, and this is the most. These things are so amazing. Let's see if I can.
Was that the flight controller?
Yeah, it's the stack. It's got the controller and the ESC, and this is the new F7 processor, but it's unbelievable.
Nice.
Wow.
Here,
Small.
That's
Yeah,
intricate.
30 here. Let me click on me so it stays.
Yeah, so the screen doesn't move.
It's a 30 by 30 controller board, and it's the Holy Bro Kakute F7, and it's got the ESC, and then I've got the matching video transmitter coming. But I don't know if you can see it. This is not the camera for close-ups, but if you can see this little thing right on top here is the gyro, and they actually mount the gyro on a cushioned separate board.
Oh,
To
nice.
shot. To keep the vibration.
Mhm.
But this is absolutely amazing what's going on these little boards. So I got this in today, and I got the motors today for it. I got these little Emax
Cool.
it's like Christmas time.
Hey, Mitch.
Yeah.
Hey, I hate to interrupt, man, but I got to go.
Oh, Chris. Okay.
Yeah, we got a
Good to see
we
you,
got-
Chris.
4-year-old grandson. We're gonna go get him and fool with him this afternoon for a little while.
Cool.
Hey, Chris, good to see you, bud.
You
Yeah,
too,
good to
Mike.
see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming in.
I sure appreciate the invite, Mitch.
Oh, anytime, my friend.
All right,
See you
y'all
next
have-
week.
y'all have a good night, guys.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
So then we got these little motors, and this is the only thing I bought for this build that wasn't considered really expensive, but I read these are the Emax Eco motors, and they only cost $12 a piece, but they look exactly like the motors that I have on my Hawk 5. And I watched 3 or 4 different reviews, including like Jonathan Bardwell and those guys and they said that this was an amazing motor, and for $12 a piece. So that's the motor that's gone on it. And
Nice.
I'm going to actually start building it here in a couple of days and make maybe 3 or 4 parts. I had thought maybe that, remember I did the live stream with that Tyro 99 build, and but
Right.
maybe that was kind of a free for all. I had Mike on here, and it went for like 4 hours. But I think on this one, I'm just going to make regular videos out of it and edit them out, because some of this stuff is very boring. You know, soldering one set of ESC wires to the controllers is interesting, but then when you got to sit through the other 3 sets, it gets a little boring.
It was not boring with Mike doing commentary, man.
No, it was funny, wasn't it?
It was, I had to go to bed, and I got in bed, and you guys were still going.
Oh,
And
it was
he
crazy.
wanted you to go fly it, which of course you weren't going to do. But you know, Mike, he winds up.
Oh God, yeah. And you know, this I seem to, I don't know if it's an obsessive personality or whatever, but I when I get gone into something, I go crazy. I go absolutely nuts. And that's what I'm doing. So until I get tired of it,
There you go.
I got
You already know what camera you're putting on that and everything, right?
yeah, I got this this little run cam.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Little run cam micro, and then I've also got this this is a tiny little GPS module.
Oh, wow.
And the idea is you hook it up for what they call GPS rescue. It's not for flying like a camera, like a Mavic does, where you fly it around, but you put this little GPS receiver in there, and it receives all the GLONASS and the regular and the US signals, and you hook it up to one switch on your transmitter, and if you flick that switch, it will automatically go into stabilized mode. It'll climb up to, and it'll turn around and it'll start heading home. Doesn't land itself. It doesn't do anything. But if it fail safes, if you fly out of your radio range, or you just get lost, or something bad happens, you click the switch and and then you just keep an eye out for it as it's coming back. And then when it gets close enough to you, you take over and land it. But I think that those things cost like $11 for that GPS module. So
Wow.
for $11, it's probably, I hope I don't get in more trouble with it than it solves problems. But
Right.
yeah, but that's going to be an interesting build, and it's very educational trying to learn this stuff and figure out how to make it all work.
It's come such a long way. Look at the size of these things today.
Oh, this is the Hawk 5 here.
Uh-huh.
And this was one that I bought that's already built. They call it a bind and fly, and that's made by Emax. And the motors on here, I got the props loose, looking almost exactly the same as those Eco motors, but these things cost $28 or $25 a piece if you go look at them. So we'll see what the difference is. I flew this thing today a little bit, not through the goggles, but just working on the tune to get the rates right, so it's as responsive. And this is such a rocket ship that it's scary. It's almost at the hover is almost right at the low throttle, and you just give it a little thing and it just takes off like a rocket ship. And I got this. This is interesting too. People put GoPros on these things, and they put the GoPro Sessions, the square things.
Yeah.
And you can't get them anymore. And I'm not really all that interested in movie theater quality high def video from these things. So there's a couple of ways you can go. You can Drone Shot says look at the link. Okay, I will. I'm trying to keep track of everything. They have these split cameras, like the CADX Turtle or the Run. I think that RunCam's got a split, and out of one lens it goes into a DVR on the drone and records on an SD card. And I've got that on my little Whoop, the little Beta FPV, and they just came out with a new camera that has two. Actually, it's the size of one of these little tiny things, but it's got two lenses, and it records in 4K. It's just nuts where it's gone.
Wow.
But I saw for $30, I found this little thing called a Firefly. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I've got one of those.
Do you?
Well, I've got the mount for it, and I don't know
just-
what to put it on. I
it's
want
this
to.
little tiny thing.
Yeah, that's
And it
what
takes
looks like.
an SD card. It records in 1080, and it was $29. And
Yep.
it comes with this mount.
Mount. Yep.
So what I did was I just tie wrapped the mount to this thing, and then the little camera just slides right into it,
Right.
and it stays in there pretty tight. I can't imagine losing it.
Yeah, it's a pretty snug fit.
Yeah, you gotta push up on this. There it goes.
Yeah.
Snaps in there. So I mounted that on there and took it out today and tested it. And the video looks pretty good. It's not stabilized like a GoPro would be, but it's
Right.
fine. It's fine, and and I'm having fun with it.
That's
This where was this?
Well, your other one isn't stabilized either, right? That E85 or whatever you were
No,
flying?
the Beta Flight.
Yeah.
No, that's not stabilized either. And if you hold on a second, I can show you a little video from that. Considering I think that most of us that are here are actually, half of us are on the panel, and there's 9 people in here. Everybody's taking the night off tonight. You get a better crowd, I guess. Maybe maybe Mikey draws them. I don't know. Anyway, I give up trying to figure out what it is.
Right.
Let's see. Let me find.
I've watched too many shows on what to do with algorithms and all this other stuff. It's enough to drive you insane.
It
Right.
is, isn't it? It really is. Let's see here. Here you go. This is. Let me pick one that. Let's see what's.
Now he's picking a video of him flying that blue.
Yeah, this is the little.
Ish.
The Beta FPV 85 X HD. There it goes, and you can see the quality of the
Wow.
video that comes off of that thing, and that's just a tiny little 85 millimeter Whoop.
Wow.
But the camera that's in that is the CADX Turtle V2.
Right.
And it has the camera, and then it has a board where the SD card goes, and you can it's like $69 for the whole thing.
That's
if you want.
remarkably
Wow.
clear.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. It looks clear on the live stream. If you look, I have an iPad off to the side,
Yeah.
and it's the Hangouts clouds thing up, but boy, it's really clear in the live stream.
Yeah, it's 1080. It's 1080 high def. Here, I got.
Oh yeah.
Let me hang on one
Wow.
second here. What did I do with that folder? I just had it. Did I close it?
Lock your screen in, Mitch, when you play it.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's locked in for the stream.
Okay.
If you talk, you'll still see the movement. But if you look at the actual stream itself, I've got it locked in. But I got another one here. I'm trying to. I just got too many windows open here. Let me.
That other one you had out at the field. Is that the one you're searching for?
Oh, out at the flying field. Yeah, yeah. I've got. I don't have this stuff organized. I have it organized for video editing and not for doing live streams. But let me look at.
Isn't that the abandoned office park or whatever it was?
Yeah, it's not really
Yeah.
an abandoned office park. It's
Kind of empty.
kind of empty. Yeah, let's
hmm
see what this one is here. Oh, there's me carrying it out of the trunk of my car. Oh God,
We call that B-roll.
B-roll. Yeah, there we go. Getting brave, flying between trees.
Oh,
You know what? You just have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing the envelope.
Mhm.
Every a little bit more each time, and I've been playing a lot with this little thing. If you see me down in the corner there, there's the little. This is really a great drone to learn on, and I did the video of the Project Mockingbird modifications to this weekend.
Right.
And it just flies great. I had it out in that video you saw, it flying around the acro mode. And it's a matter of confidence for me. I mean, this, you don't want to
Look
break
at
them.
that dynamic range.
Look at that.
Wowzer.
Yeah. But at any rate, this is what I was doing. And the good news about this place here is that it's just right next door to my community.
Right.
So it's not real far, but I think this was shot on a Sunday, but
Cool.
there's only one building actually has anybody in there. Now there's a dumpster there. They seem to be working on it now.
Yeah.
And they
I
put that
know.
fence up. See that fence there on the
Yeah.
right? They just put that up. So they're doing something out there.
Mhm.
But for the time being, I like flying there because it's got guidelines. You got the streets, you got the lines, you got the trees, you got, and I found that when I go out to the Model Airplane Flying Club and fly this over this big wide open nothingness, it's harder to fly when you have a reference to. That's why even flying around inside my house is a lot easier because you have some reference.
Right.
Anyway, that's a little bit of what that 85X HD camera is, and that thing. I mean, that little CADX turtle is terrific. So I was seriously thinking about maybe not using that little run cam and putting one of those turtles on this new one I'm building, because for the kind of stuff that I'm not going to be doing Mr. Steele kind of flying where I'm flying in and out of rain gutters, into parking garages, into elevators, out through roof vents, and it's crazy. I don't need that high quality stabilized like a GoPro Hero 7 or something like that. So that's good enough for me. Now, if I'm still doing this in 2 years and I've gotten halfway good at it, then I might want more cinematic looking stuff. Right now, I'm just proud of the fact that I'm keeping it in the air.
yeah, you're doing pretty good there. You're
Thank
getting
you.
pretty brave there, going between the trees and.
Well, when I'm flying around in the house here, I had where did I put it? I had one here that here is this one here. You've seen some of this stuff of me flying in the house before, but this is with that little Tiny Hawk the other day, and I was flying, and when you first take off, it takes you a second to get kind of used to it, but in some of these things, I just wanted to see if I could just go fast. So there I went over the ceiling blade fan and into the bedroom, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna go up over that hump up there, over the top, or over the top of the bed rail, and as you know, I'm banging into things and because I want to try to start pushing it a little bit, like these guys do. That they race around and you do bang into stuff, but I did manage here to actually start going over the bed rail. See it? And banged into the tree again. But this is how you learn.
Yep.
And I found out that this little bugger, you'll see later on in this video, in a minute or two, I decided that I was going to just push that stick forward and see how fast it would go straight down the center of the house. And it's unbelievable how fast that little bugger goes. And here I got an idea. I said, oh, look at this. I'm going to go under these chairs. And I made it under and then ended up hitting the leg. So
now, how did it not crash?
Well, it's this drone, Mike. And
right. Okay, so it
you can crash it into things full speed. It's not going to break it.
Right, but it kept flying.
It just bounces off of things and keeps flying. That was cool. I don't know if you saw that, but I was in my office, in the studio here. I actually, which is that room right there and ended up in there. And I see the green screen.
Yeah.
So that's my studio. And I bounced into something else and it flipped over. And as long as it flips back over, I'll keep flying.
There you go. Cool.
But what I was doing in this flight was just, I'm saying, I'm just going to, I'm going to try to keep pushing the envelope instead of just poking around, try to go faster and everything. I've pretty well mastered the art of flying slow. So one part in here, I mean, I just hit it coming down the center. No, was this it? No, I wasn't even going that fast there, but maybe coming back the other way. I decided to just push the stick forward and see what happened. And it scared me. Oh, we got Jerry. Is Jerry drone obsessed? Yeah, Jerry. Hey, how you doing, man? I'm paying attention to everything except the chat room. Who else we got in here? Good to see you.
Hey, Jerry.
Jerry's saying his drone industry group there will be
here. Watch this. This is where I just decided to go fast. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can see when you let off.
Yeah. Boom, boom. But I'm banging into things. And
that's what those box goggles that you can take the screen out of, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And there I actually landed right on the table where I started. But that's what I'm doing with this. And that's how I'm trying to learn. And I like a lot of guys, they go out and they just wreck a lot of drones, and I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying
to. Mitch, there's a group that has been around for a while down at the Valkyria Airport, X-59.
Yeah, that's my model airplane club.
Okay.
They have a field. They fly down there. I've never been out to that particular field, but they fly FPV out there.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to check it out. Our next club meeting, I'll ask about it, but we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, it's been kind of slow tonight, guys. We've had 8, 9, 10 people in here. Is there something else going on that I don't know about?
Vale's wife started.
Yeah, it's Bill the Drone Reviewer is doing an unboxing right now.
On Thursday?
I just got the notification.
Ah, Bill. I don't go on Tuesday night. Well, good for him.
Yeah.
It's tough, Art. It's tough to find a slot where you don't have everybody else and their brother on a live stream. But
yeah. Well, plus it's summertime too, Mitch.
Yeah.
I mean, people in the cold weather states always spend a lot more time on YouTube in the wintertime than in now. It's great out now.
Yeah. Hey EBR, how you doing? EBR's on. he wrecked his Marmot. One of them broke an arm on it. I was really surprised to hear that. So I asked them to. They have a lifetime warranty on the frame. So we'll see. I asked him to tell me. I asked him to tell me how that works out. And you're right. You're right. No, there is no such thing as a slot here. We just do our thing, and
Yeah.
I'll do my thing. And basically, if I get 3 or 4 people in here to talk to, it doesn't even have to be a show. It can be just a little get together for us.
Right.
There you go.
I don't care. I'm not trying to prove anything.
Well, it grows on its own, and look how many things we've talked about already.
Oh yeah, and Jerry, he's got the Vipers. Yeah. Hey, I got to tell you something, Jerry. On my Vipers, the little button that you click to start the recording stopped working. It got to the point where you had to push it harder and harder and harder to get it to, and then all of a sudden it just quit. So I emailed the company, and they emailed me back and said, can you send us a video, show us what it's doing? So I took my cell phone, I made a real low resolution video, showed them, sent it to them. Next day they said, we're going to send you a new one, a new screen part. And if you want it, would you pay I think it was $18 for over or 2-day DHL or whatever from, if we ship it that way so you can get it quick. And I said, yes. I sent them $18. A couple days later, I just got it. It came yesterday, a brand new one. I mean, brand spanking new screen part. And
Right.
they let me keep the old screen. So the nice thing about it is the old screen still works as a monitor. You can still tune channels, and the only thing it can't do with it is record or playback, but it still works.
Right.
So I got it. It's nice to have that extra little monitor when you're out at the field flying. You set it on the bench and without having to put the goggles on to see. And I found out that they actually sell, it's like $100, but they actually sell that same monitor in a little case with a flip screen and a tripod mount.
Right.
As a field monitor.
Is that like a Diversity 7-inch monitor?
It's a 5-inch. Yeah, it's a 5-inch Diversity monitor, and it works great. But the box goggles, if you got glasses, and that's where I need it. When you got glasses like I do, I can't wear. I'd have to get the diopters for inside of any of these other kinds of goggles, and to get them right is a long. I already tried that route once with a pair of goggles for something else.
That's why I never went to goggles, Mitch. It's because of diopters I'd have to get.
Well, these Vipers are terrific. They're terrific.
Hey, you know what? They've got this thing out. It's called LASIK.
Unfortunately, Art, LASIK can't fix what's wrong with my eyes. I have a prism. I need prism. One of my eyes is higher than the other, so I need a prism in my glasses. And yeah, and it's just as easy for me to put the box goggles on.
Well, I got mine 10 years ago, and because of what I had with my eyes, I had to do the old school PRK, which is where instead of where they cut a flap and then they blast you with the lasers, they just blast away with the lasers, and that outer coating that grows back. That's what when you wake up in the morning and you got sand in your eyes, and those are the dead cells from your eyes, and that sloughs off every day while you're sleeping. And when they did that surgery, it burned away that, and it kind of felt like sandpaper under my eyelids for a few days. And I had put these numbing drops in for a few days, but in about 6 weeks, I was fine. And it just took a while for me to get used to it, because I had one eye done for distance and one for reading.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, one of my ex-wife had that done with the I forget what they call it, where you have one eye for each in your
Right.
brain.
It's called monovision.
Yeah, monovision. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how well that would work in goggles.
You've got to get used to your depth perception all over again.
Yeah. I've had this now. I discovered it when I was flying radio controlled jets that went very fast and very high and we were flying them one night at dusk where the light got dark. And when that happens, your pupils open up. And I found I'm looking up, I'm flying two airplanes, one right on top of the other. Identical airplanes too, doing exactly the same thing. But two of them. I mean, amazing. And I'd never seen that before. And if I took and twisted my glasses sideways, then they came together. I said, well, that's the strangest thing. I'm dying of a brain tumor. Something's wrong with me. And I went to the eye doctor. He said, no, you need prism. I said, well, how come nobody's ever noticed this before? He said, well, you really won't notice it until you're in a situation like you were the other night flying the jet. So ever since then, this has been 15 years ago, I've worn glasses with prism. And when I got the DJI goggles, I actually had a pair of reading glasses made because these are bifocals. I had a pair of reading glasses made just for those goggles, and they work fine. And I can use those same glasses in the Viper box goggles too, or I can just use my regular glasses in there. So with the reading glasses, it's just a little sharper, but it's a hell of a lot less glasses switching out there.
Right.
So you just leave these on and use these. And I envy these guys. I see all these guys wearing these Fat Sharks, and I'm sure I'd love to be able to use those, but unfortunately I can't.
Well, I want to try FVP or FPV. I've got this Tello, and there is an app where you could do that with, and I've got the goggles where I could put my phone in. But the problem is, I've got this controller. I need the phone. I need the phone inside the goggles, so I gotta have this. The problem is I couldn't get it to link with this.
Well, is that the right one? Because I got the same thing here.
This controller here is the Nimbus Steel Series controller for the Tello. He might have the TID one.
Yeah, well, that's what I got. I got this one here, but it was made, and it works fine with my Tello, but you got to link it through the app on the phone.
Yeah, it's Bluetooth.
It's Bluetooth, so you got to have the phone going.
Yeah,
and then you got it's such, and I've got the Tello here too, and I tried to do that as well, but the problem I found is the latency.
Right.
You move the stick, and then half a second later the drone moves.
Right.
And if you're just poking along slow, you can do it. But when you're flying one of these drones that's moving fast, you can't have latency in the radio control. So that's one of the problems of flying these things with a Wi-Fi signal. That's why in the FPV drones, you use the basic RC type controller and receivers with very low latency. And then the feed you get back from the camera has very low latency because it's an analog signal. It's not a digital signal. So
that's RSSI, right?
Well, the RSSI, will display the strength of the signal from the radio to the drone. Yeah, and you can get telemetry back on all kinds of things, and even if you put that little GPS in there, you can, inside your goggles on the on-screen display, you can set it up to display the latitude and longitude, an arrow pointing to the home, the distance from home. You can, but pretty soon you got so much stuff cluttering up inside your goggle screen, you can't see where you're going.
Terry is saying that you have to have the right controller. Now, when I bought the Tello EDU and the Tello Scratch for my granddaughter because she's doing Scratch computing on her little computer, and they didn't have the ones that you guys have available. They were out of stock or something. So I wound up with this Nimbus Steel Series, and I don't have any problems with it. In fact, you can do all your flips and all that by pressing the button.
Yeah.
and turn on your video and yada yada. But I don't know that it has the same problems that yours does. But in fact, yours is the one that's actually recommended for
Yeah,
it.
it's the
Right.
GameSir T1D,
Yeah.
and you gotta
Yeah.
have the D. It's got to have the D.
Yep.
Is that what you have, Art?
Yep. That's what.
Well, I don't know why. What you have to do is you go in the Tello app, and there's a thing that where it says controller,
Yeah.
and if you turn this on, it should find it.
I've had it. I got it to work with this, but with the FPV app,
Oh, okay.
I couldn't get it to work because I wanted to use my goggles so I could fly with my goggles with the Tello. I wanted to get that experience, and I thought, oh, cool, I'll get this. I got the app, and I'm like, it works if I just fly regular, but if I go to using this controller, I did all the things in that one of the vloggers said to do. Go do this, and sometimes it doesn't work. Start over again. I did this like 4 or 5 times. And I said, screw it. The app was taking too much memory in my phone, so I got rid of it. But maybe down the road, somebody will come up with something better.
You know what you can get this little deal,
Right.
the Tiny Hawk. They have this with a basic pair of goggles and a radio for
Right.
like $149 or something like that.
That's-
And this by itself is $100.
wow.
And because it's got brushless motors in it and everything. But to learn how to fly FPV and actually get the experience, this is a cheap way of doing it. Now that's not the way I did it, because you can buy the Taranis QX7 radio for $100.
Right.
And it's a terrific radio, and it's really all the radio that anybody would need, unless you want maybe better sticks, which I did. So I bought the S model, which was $180, but that also came with the Hall effect gimbals. It came with an R9M module, transmitter module, which is their long range module. It came with that as well.
Right.
But it's all the radio that you'd ever need to fly any FPV, 16 channel radio. And the thing that makes FPV different than flying RC with these transmitters is when you're configuring an RC model that's really complicated. Let's suppose you're configuring a turbine, like I was doing, turbine jet. So you need your 4 basic flight channels.
Right.
And then you need your landing gear channel, your flap channel. I had slats channel. I had speed brakes channel. I had a canopy channel to open my canopy up. And then you have all kinds of mixes. And these mixes, in other words, when you advance the throttle, the elevator, as you advance the throttle, you might change the sensitivity of the elevator, or there's all kinds of mixes that are done in the radio, and none of that stuff is done in the transmitter, basically, for an FPV drone. It's all done in the flight controller and controlled by settings in, say, Betaflight or something like that. So if you have a basic radio with basic sticks and some basic switches, you don't need all the programming power that these $1,000 RC radios have.
Right.
So you start out with one of those. You get the Taranis radio. You can get the $100 one or the $180 one. You get these Viper goggles, believe it or not, are $179, and they're terrific. And you can't buy much of a regular goggle for that, but you can, for under $200, you can get a really nice set of goggles that isn't really a toy. It's the the real deal. And then you buy it, you get a drone for $100. So for under $500, you could actually get started in this FPV with top
Well-
quality stuff. And when you think about it, if you go out and buy a little camera drone, $500 doesn't get you real far.
Right. Well, I'm looking here on Amazon. There's an Emax Tiny Hawk RTF micro indoor racing drone with FPV goggles and controllers for beginners. $161.99.
Yeah, that's the one I was telling you about.
Right.
It's this drone here.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you what, it says for beginners, but this thing is you take it outside and you change the settings. This thing will fly like you think you're flying a faster drone.
Right.
Did I let me see, what did I do with that? Hang on one second here. I'll find it. I gotta go. I want to show you a little. It was in this video that I did about the Mockingbird settings,
Right.
and let me get that going here, and I'll find the spot on it. Just ignore me down in the corner because I was in the corner in the video, so now I'm going to be in the corner twice.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So this is that little tiny drone.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, look at it. I didn't speed this up. This is how fast this thing was going.
Wow. Nice.
Here, let me click on so it stays locked in.
Wow.
I mean, look at this thing.
How much flight time do you get off that?
About 4 minutes.
Right?
Yeah. But I mean, oh, look, there's two of me down in the corner. How cool is that? But this is flying in the acro mode, which
Right.
is not the stabilized mode. You fly it around the house, you fly around in the stabilized mode, but this was flying around in the acro mode, and it was rocking. So it's great for a beginner, but like me, I'm still a beginner, but you can get to go out and fly it like a bigger drone, a faster drone would fly.
Cool.
And you almost, once you figure out how to pop the camera back in after you keep popping it out when you crash, and another thing about these little drones is the spare parts are there for them.
Uh-huh.
You can replace a whole frame for $6 or motors for, it's crazy. So for me, now the goggles and radio that you get with that little starter kit aren't going to be worth much if you do improve. That's why I'm saying that you might want to just buy the drone for $100
Okay.
and get a radio and a pair of goggles that'll carry you through a bunch of other drones. Because like for this let me get back on the camera here. Anyway, I'll let this play out because at the end of this video, I think I flew it into the trunk. I decided I was going to put it in the garage and just fly it right into the trunk of the car.
Did it work?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But it's not much. I think we're coming to the end of it now. Here it comes. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah. And that was
Saves time loading up the.
but that was that little Tiny Hawk. And this thing here, this is the Emax. This is the Hawk 5, which is
Okay.
about a year and a half old design. But this is, I think, about a $250 drone. It doesn't come. It comes with everything except the little camera, but it's got the receiver in it
Right.
and all ready to bind and fly. And Whereas this thing will go, 80, 90 miles an hour easily. That little
Right.
drone will probably go 40 miles an hour. But when you're wearing those goggles, it feels just as fast.
Right.
And
And
that camera, Mitch, on there, I noticed it's tilted way up. Is that because the attitude of the drone will be
right, all
forward?
of these FPV cameras. See, if you flew a drone like this and gave it power, it would go straight up.
Right.
So in order for a drone to fly, it has to be tilted to 20, 30 degrees. And the more you tilt it, the faster it goes.
Right.
So when you start flying FPV, if you want to fly slower, you have a lower camera tilt. So
Okay.
just by keeping your horizon in the center of your goggles, the drone's gonna be to where the camera is level. So when you want to go faster, you just start tilting the camera up more and more, which means the drone has to be like this. And that's what the cool thing about that little one was. What happened was it has two little notches in here, a little tab that holds this little tiny camera. There's a little camera here, and there's a little tiny tab that sticks out the top, and then there's two little slots inside. And one slot keeps the camera at this angle, if you can see it, which is fairly low. See, but the other slot kept it about that angle. And I hit a tree out there with this thing, and the camera jumped from the front slot to the back slot, and I didn't realize it. So the camera tilt was increased. And so on my next flight, which was the flight you just saw there, I didn't think anything of it. But in order to, when I kept the horizon steady, the drone was more like this, and it was going twice as fast. And I said, "This is great. What happened?" And then I finally figured it out when I got home. I looked at the camera and I said, "Well, that's not how the camera used to look at this thing."
Right.
It's a process of learning. There's so much to learn about. I mean, it's going to take me years with not just because the basics are fine,
Right.
but then you start, you want to build something more advanced, and you want to have what they call smart audio, where you can control your video transmitter settings from your camera, from your sticks, and you want to do all these fancy things, and you have to actually start learning how the electronics in them works.
Right.
And
Is that coming to where you can do that, Mitch?
well, it's already here.
Oh, it is?
Oh yeah, smart audio is already in these things, and so is telemetry if you got the right receiver. Yeah, I can on that little Beta 85X and on my Tyro 9. No, the Tyro 99 doesn't have the smart audio, but the Beta 85X, that little whoop, you can adjust the output power of the transmitter, so and also change the channels, and even some of them, if you got to get even more technical than I am now, but there's tons of videos on how to do this stuff out there.
Right.
So there's no shortage of places to learn. And that's why I got this fairly advanced F7 flight controller for this new drone I'm building, because I want to learn how to do all of these more advanced things. And of course, a drone like a DJI Mavic has all of this stuff going on in it, and more,
Yeah, but you don't get to do any of it. And you want to physically do it yourself, right?
I want to understand it. I'm going to be able to,
Right.
know which UART these different things are going in, on which serial port on the receiver, and it is pretty complex, but it's fascinating. I've always been fascinated in electronics and stuff like that. But if you're not interested,
Gary Brandt is in the.
yeah. Oh, hey Gary, how are you?
I
And
bought-
Anthony Benson is here. Hi, Anthony. And why does my screen say 3 watching and I'm buffering? What happened?
I don't know, but you're not.
I am here.
Well, if I could jump in for a second,
Sure.
I bought this gadget for my Mavic Air that's PGY Tech, and what it is you can mount a camera on the top of your Mavic Air. And what I did is I mounted a cheapy GoPro type camera on, and I mounted it backwards, so it looks like I'm doing the backup shots, and but the problem is the thing shakes all over the place. I had even a little bit of rubber padding between the camera and the mount so it wouldn't shake as much. Luckily, I turned the audio off when I made the video because that thing is, you think that thing is loud now with the camera right on top of it. I mean, when I first played that video, I nearly blasted out of my chair from the sound.
You know, I have this most of these cameras, when you put them on the drones, that little Beta 85 thing has that little Cadex turtle in it, and the sound that comes out of that is screeching, howling, noisy. You can't, you know.
So if you want, you could go check out that video on my channel.
Oh, okay, yeah, and even the audio from this little what was it, Firefly? What's that? What's the name of it?
Yeah, Firefly. Yeah.
Yeah, the little Firefly camera here that I tried out today. It was better than the audio on the Runcam, but a lot of these different cameras have these little microphones to go inside the drone because one of the things that big time drone pilots do is they want to hear the audio. They want to hear the motors when they're flying. So they have the along with the video signal transmitted to the goggles, they're transmitting an audio signal, and then they put a little earbud in. And it's very helpful as you're flying. If you've ever flown a simulator, when you turn the audio off, you know, you almost have to guess where the throttle is. But when you have that feedback of the pitch of the motors,
okay.
then you have you're much more connected to the drone. And yet most of the FPV pilots don't do that. Mr. Steele, who's, you know, one of the more famous pilots, he's the one that has done the most videos about putting the audio in with the FPV and how to get just the right microphone and how to just the right wind noise protection, and to him it's very, very, very important. And I noticed that when I was flying the simulator, that how important that sound really was. Now, as I'm flying the drone now, I'm not finding that I'm consciously thinking about the fact that I can't hear, because if the drone is fairly close to you, you can hear it. But the problem, one of the problems you get, of course, is the speed of sound. If you're out there flying and you're flying these big fields where you are getting a couple 100, 400, 500 meters away, doing big maneuvers, you're not going to hear the sound respond exactly when you hit the throttle. You're going to hear it half a second later or something, and that might throw you off. That's why you want to have the earphone. So that's just another aspect of this thing that you look into, as you learn. And after all, that's what makes it fascinating, and it makes because once if you get to the point where there's nothing new for you to learn, and you just go out there every day and do the same old thing, that's when it starts to get boring. That's when it starts to get boring. But when you find a new gadget, for example, and you buy for $12 and you order it, and you wait for it to come, and it comes, and you get to open it up, and then you get to solder it into the thing and tune it and make it work and fly it and test it out. That makes it interesting. That makes it interesting.
That's an area I've been having problems with, Mitch. I do a lot of the the construction that goes on around here, and I get, believe it or not, most of my views come from Facebook, and they request to see these things. But as far as a YouTube channel goes, I need to expand this. I don't know, come up with some of our river shots or something like that.
Well, you got,
I'm getting hitched in, is what I'm saying.
You got gorgeous. There's, well, same way. I mean, for me, it has to be it's not so much about pleasing everybody else on YouTube. It's got to be fun for me to do.
Right.
I don't want a job, I mean, and
Yeah.
the camera drones, you everybody and their brothers posting footage from these drones. Mike
Right.
Roche, that, and you want to try to do something unusual, like break the law, fly under trees,
Yeah. Over street.
over the street. Yeah. And in the thing that I noticed in the FPV world, reckless, in other words, daredevil stuff is what people want to see.
Right.
The Mr. Steel kind of flying,
Right.
tear up an underground parking garage and office buildings and complexes.
Yeah.
And they want to see that kind of stuff, or
That's
they
right.
want to watch videos about how to, and
How-
that's where Ledrib, Ledrib and Joshua Bardwell,
Yeah.
and UAV Futures in Australia.
Yeah.
These guys do a great job. Now, the guy in Australia is mostly a review channel, but I've learned that.
Joshua Bardwell went full time. Was even announcing that he was going to go full time.
Oh, he's been full time for a while now, I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he's good. He's good at what he does, and that's pretty much he's responsible for what I'm using in this build here, because it's very close to what he used when he built his quote ultimate quad.
Hey guys, I want to thank you for letting me hang out with you
Oh,
guys.
anytime,
I
Art.
gotta go get something to eat, and you guys have a great evening. All right.
All right, my friend. Thanks for coming in. We're going to wrap it up here pretty soon too, because it's kind of slow tonight, and save something for next week. So anyway, take care, Art.
See you later.
Art.
All
All
right.
right, buddy.
Bye bye.
I've gotten some flying in the past a week or 10 days. You guys, I did on the night before Memorial Day. There's a what's called a watch fire here in Syracuse, where they burn in a respectful way. You have a big, huge pyre of American flags, and they burn them, for the soldiers and stuff.
Yeah.
All worn out American flags.
Oh, no kidding.
And it flew that. And
Oh,
that
that's
got
cool.
got interesting because there was a sheriff's helicopter that was on static display at the event. There's food, music, all kinds of stuff. And I'm got my drone over near a tree, and I got it pointed at the beginning of the fire, and the helicopter, I hear it start revving up and to take off, and I'm thinking, what do I do?
Uh-oh.
And I thought I could make it come home, but I don't know which way this guy's going to go. He's not up yet. So I just got hunkered down right next to the tree and figured, okay, he's not going to go there. And he circled around and did a flyover over the fire. And I just made sure to stay down at tree level, and I was fine, and I wasn't over any people because
Blow your
I could
drone
hear
out of
Ken
the sky.
Heron's voice in my head out the whole time about being legal and everything.
He didn't blow your drone out of the sky with the helicopter.
No, I got no prop wash or anything.
Wow.
And, so I made a video out of that, but a few days before that, I went out to a state park, and kind of got into the gray area because they weren't open yet. You can go in and walk around, but you don't have to pay to get in. The beach is not open. And I flew over a lake that we have here that has a distinct green color to it. And also there's a freshwater reef in the coral reef in the lake, which I was shocked at what it looked like from the outside. I've seen it from the footpath that you walk by from the land, but from the air looking down at it, the colors blew me away. And I was shocked at how beautiful it was. So I'm in the middle of editing that right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
I've
then
got
the other thing I did, I did a lot of flying, got a lot of stuff to edit. The Erie Canal, ran through this area, and there's old aqueducts left over from the olden days. And so I found it's a state park again, but nobody was there, and the people who were there did not care that I was flying at all. And I flew down along the creek that goes under the aqueduct and flew through the archways of the aqueduct.
Oh, cool.
I got a little daredevil-ish there, Mitch, and I nearly bought it there, but I made it pretty well.
You're getting really brave.
I lived to fly another day.
I'm telling you, man, you're getting
I felt it. I was heading towards it, and I was like, I've got this. I've got the flight path, and I made it through the arch, and then I almost hit a tree, veering off to the side after I got through. But I thank God I didn't. And then I turned around and came back through again. That was the easy. That was the easy part. And but that was a lot of fun. And so there's a little history to go with that place. And so I've got a couple of things to put together. It's just fun to get out and fly. Sorry about my phone there.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I put mine on silent, so every once in a while it bounces around over there on the table.
Right. But anyway, it just feels good to get out and get up in the air.
What
time
of day was that flag burning ceremony?
That was at the State Fair grounds. The New York State Fairgrounds are about 3 miles from where I live. And so I was in one of the that was in a parking lot for the fairgrounds, and I was in an upper parking lot higher than that. I didn't go to the ceremony because the traffic was murder.
Right.
But so I was up there. I had line of sight the whole time, and I did have to fly across the highway to get over there. But I made sure it was slow traffic Sunday night, so I was good to go. And it went and so just in a huge parking lot. But I don't know if you can see, there was lots of cars there and stuff.
I fly across the highways all the time. I just time it with the traffic. Right. Yeah, no big deal.
I thought that it was okay, and I may be wrong, but didn't I hear somewhere that as long as there's a roof over a person, you can fly over it?
Yeah, but not a car. They don't consider a car.
They don't consider a car covered.
Right.
How about
They're working on that now, though.
Yeah. How about a car that's, well, I can understand. You don't. They might not want you falling onto moving cars going 80 miles an hour on the interstate, because that wouldn't be good. But how about cars in a parking lot?
The one thing I was nervous about doing that fire, it's huge. The thing is gigantic, and I've driven by it on the highway before, and I was in my car, and it felt like I was in front of an oven door that was open, for just a minute going by the fire. So I was worried about my drone getting heated up, and so I just kept checking my battery temperature.
That's why I asked. I wondered why the helicopter would get up, because that'll spread flames and sparks.
Right. Well, I think they had just started the fire.
Okay.
And then they kept up. Those guys look for any excuse to fly that thing anyway. So they were doing circles around. People were asking on Facebook, what was the sheriff's helicopter doing up? And I could see them the whole time. They were just having fun. But anyway, that was a lot of fun to do, and I've wanted to do it, and and I tried to put something decent together. And I got a lot of questions because a lot of people didn't understand, isn't burning the flag disrespectful? But it all depends on how it's done, because that was done with a military color guard and, all the proper protocols, for honoring the military.
Correct.
Well, how do you get rid of old flags? I mean, what is the honorable way? What do you throw them in the landfill? Burning would seem to me to be the most honorable way, and it's some kind of a ceremony.
Right. Yeah. And you could probably do it at home I think it all comes to what your intention is, and but that was pretty cool to do. And thankfully I beat all the traffic home too. So I was good.
Oh, wow. How many flags did they burn? Do you know?
Hundreds. I mean,
really?
I don't know if you saw the pile or not. It's I have no clue. The fire, the people had to stand back probably 80 or 100 feet away from the fire.
Did you
once it got
already?
going.
I didn't see this video. I didn't get a
Yeah,
notice.
it's on my channel.
Oh, it's already. When did you put it out?
Monday.
Oh, okay. I missed that one. How did I miss that one? All right, I'll
Yeah,
go look
so
at it. Here,
It's
I'm
only 2 minutes. It's 2
asking
minutes
all
long.
these dumb questions, and I could get them all answered in 2 minutes.
And I'm trying to make all my videos now. I signed on to Storyblocks. Do you guys know about that?
Yeah.
It's a music and service, and it has all kinds of backgrounds and music and sound effects and all that. I want to make sure that all my stuff is copyright free.
How much do they charge for that?
That through the app I use, I think if you pay the 1 year in full, it was like $60 a year.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah, and it's got all the you just type in, do you want ethereal music, and you'll get a whole bunch of that, or do you want blues, or do you want whatever, and so it's pretty cool, and it's for because you never know when you get invited on somebody's show, they might want to play your video, and then you don't want to give them a copyright strike.
No, it's like giving them a virus. I got stuck on my first live stream. Somebody came on and I played one of his videos and didn't think about it, and then I got a notice from YouTube that it was copyrighted, but they gave me an option to replace it with something else, and they actually go in there and take it out of your video and put something else in instead. So, but I never did that again. And I have with TubeBuddy, you get a free, I forget the name of it. Anyway, free music subscription. You can download 20 songs a month for free as part of your TubeBuddy Pro membership.
Mm-hmm.
And see if I can.
Yeah, I've got that too.
Yeah, I hardly ever use it.
I haven't used it yet.
Audio Hero. It's called Audio Hero. They've got tons of stuff, and then I've got some other public domain archives that I found. In fact, that this song that I use here, this blues thing. That sounds like a combination of Imus in the Morning and anyway, that one I got off of that Audio Hero, and it's copyright free, and that's kind of become my theme song. I play it and my intros and on the way out. So everybody should have a theme song, right, Mike?
Right. I was talking with Philly Mike, speaking of Mike's, last night, and he wants to get more into editing now, which I think would be good. I don't know. It takes a lot of patience to edit. And so, but he wants to change it up a little bit. So I hope he can do that. But I didn't want to tell him what to do.
No, what software would he use? I know, you could. There's so many automated things like that you just. But that's
Right.
not really editing. That's
Right, little templates and stuff.
Yeah, but when you go to Premiere Pro or Final Cut or whatever,
Right. I just started with iMovie. It came on the phone or my iPad, and it gives you a basic timeline, and you can put together a video. I was tickled with that. And then I found what I use now is LumaFusion, which has 3 audio and 3 video tracks. And then you have a lot more transitions and special effects and things like that for $20 one-time purchase. So for me, that's the sweet spot. I don't want to get too complicated.
That's terrific. Yeah, well, I have because I do a lot of commercial graphics work and website design and all that. I have a a subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud, which is $50-something a month. But it gives me everything Adobe has, virtually everything from Photoshop to Premiere Pro to Lightroom to the audio, everything, virtually everything. And it's expensive, but those I need those tools to do the other work. So I use Premiere Pro because I have it. I wouldn't pay that kind of money if all I was doing was YouTube editing.
Right.
Because it's expensive, and they from what I've read, they had a photography package that was Photoshop and maybe Lightroom for $10 a month, and doubled the price of that for photographers, and they almost had a revolt.
Right, because they used to sell you the whole program before, and now they've gone into subscription, right?
Yeah,
In the
They
last
stopped
couple of
at
years.
CS6 because I was buying the CS packages for $1,000 before they started doing this nonsense.
yeah. Now it's $600-700, $700 a year they want. But
Yeah.
if you're in the business and those are your tools, you do get a lot of stuff for that. You get access to their font libraries and
Mhm.
a lot of graphics. Now they do want to sell you their stock, Adobe stock. They want you to pay extra for that. I don't need that. And I've just acquired a collection of free content, free pictures, free videos. It's where I got the monkey from, one of my copyright free deals. And just because they say it's free doesn't mean that it's copyright free.
Right.
Or royalty free. You got to be real careful. It's got to be Creative Commons stuff. But once you find the sites that qualify, and you can go onto those sites with confidence and know that if I find music that excuse me, if I find music that is from these sites, I know that I'm not going to have a problem, and I use a lot of it in my YouTube videos. And
Yeah.
that's the only place you'd probably have a problem is with your YouTube videos, because nobody else seems to pay that close attention to it.
Yeah. Now, Jim, why do you think it is? You said you get more views on Facebook than you do on YouTube?
YouTube is telling me that most of my views are coming from Facebook.
Because you link them up to Facebook.
No,
from
yeah.
YouTube?
I always link them up to Facebook, Twitter, and even Reddit, but I don't ever see any action from Reddit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I guess, it's I do the same thing sometimes if it's local, something.
Right. Exactly.
And I guess that's why you would get that click, because like my family, nobody has a YouTube account. So I have like 10 people up here who could watch, but nobody wants to sign up for YouTube. So I put it on Facebook, and they get the views.
Yeah,
did with the flags there, you're showing you're doing a service to your area. So like if you found a Facebook group of your area and posted
right,
that,
I did. Yeah,
you'd get a bunch of clicks from that.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have on your Jim, on your Facebook?
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any idea.
You have a lot?
Your friends
with a lot? You have a big community, or is it just search results that find it?
I have never checked the number, but I post in different groups. I have my own web page, Above and Beyond Globals, on there, Above and Beyond Drones. But I didn't know it had a number that shows you how many people are likes, how many people like your page.
Well, yeah, Twitter. Maybe I'm thinking of Twitter. Twitter tells you how many followers you have.
Mm.
I've never gone in for Facebook, or I have an old guy in a drone Twitter account, but I never use it. I still have a Facebook one, but I hardly ever post anything to it. Maybe I ought to start doing that. But
well, it all
depends. Too much like work, I'm never going to be none of us are ever going to be a Casey Neistat and making a fortune off of YouTube views. It's just not going to happen. We do it for the fun of it. Mike Roach, I know you and I are not in this to get rich. That's for sure.
I'm not looking to get 1,000 subs anytime in the next 3 years.
If it happens, it happens.
It could happen, but what am I getting, 35 cents a month or something? I'll make so what's the difference? That I would just like to be able to live stream. That would be nice.
Well, you can live stream.
Right, with that DU recorder and all that?
No, you live stream it off your computer. You mean live stream from your drone?
From the drone, yeah.
You don't even need that. You can live stream right out of your drone. All you need to do is you go to YouTube and get the stream key. It's a different,
I've seen it done, yeah.
And there's
just the one that jumps through all those hoops.
Well, look, the hoops that I got to go through to put this
Right.
live stream on
Right.
setting it all up, and but that's what it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, and for the 50,000 people that are watching here, maybe I could say something meaningful, change some lives, hearts and minds.
Hearts and minds.
Hearts and minds.
Hearts and minds of the whole 10 of us. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, there's a lot of people live right now. I think I've had more indications come up on the iPad
That's
in
crazy.
the last hour and a half of live.
And I don't want to
Yeah.
compete. I don't want to compete with anybody.
there are some people that go live several times a day.
Right.
And
You
they
know
don't.
what I'm talking about, Mike.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that go live and they just sit there for 4 hours and they don't do anything. Built in time. I don't know. Maybe they're maybe they know something we don't know about how to make a 10,000 a month by
I
being
didn't
online.
notice that until people started mentioning that, Mitch. And you're right. There are guys who just have these live streams going and nothing's showing. Or last night I came across one that had a black screen and there were like 20 people in the chat. Now I guess they were supposed to subscribe to each other. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of that. There's a
Yeah.
lot of sub for sub channels. There's people are just trying to build time, and it's a lot of it is YouTube's fault
Yes.
by imposing this 4,000 hour watch time thing on there, because unless it's a chicken and the egg thing, if you have 100,000 subscribers, then getting 4,000 hours of watch time on just your videos is possible. But when you have a few hundred subscribers, there's no way in the world
Right.
to get 4,000 hours of watch time out of your 200 subscribers. It's impossible. So the only way to do it is to go on live stream. And I mean, I've been drawing, this live stream has been pathetic as far as the numbers. It's maybe we're just not interesting, but it's 8, 9, 10 people most of the night.
It catches on, Mitch. There are other channels doing the same. No.
Well, I've had a lot more. I've had, average 20 to 30 viewers on a lot of these
Yeah.
streams, but tonight everybody's off doing something else, and that's okay. And I only care because I say to myself, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't anybody interested? What is it about?
No, it's not that, man. It's that new rule. Everybody right now, there's 5 guys probably that we could name who are out there sitting in a room, inviting anybody to come watch them and chat, only to get those 4,000 hours.
4,000 hours, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the only purpose that they're doing it.
And what they forget is that you have to keep up that 4,000 hour watch time. Once you hit it, you got to keep it up.
And not only
Yeah.
that, you have to have at the basis of it all some kind of content that some advertiser would be willing to pay to have his ad shown on your channel.
Yeah, I'm glad I do what I do. I make a video once a week or every 10 days. I put it up, and if I get a comment from somebody in Australia, I'm happy.
Like Gary,
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I'm the same way. This is a hobby. It's not
Mhm.
it's not a living. And the minute it stopped being fun for you, Mike, why would you do it?
Right. Yeah.
You
And I
know,
don't want to be under the pressure to like have a regular show or whatever. That's just crazy.
I understand that, and I'm not like Ken Hearn in that he brags about he hasn't missed a Thursday in 100 episodes or whatever.
Except for when the power went out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember that. But if Thursday comes along and I don't feel like doing this, or a better offer comes along, there's going to be no show on Thursday night. I don't have
Right.
sponsors I got to please. I don't have,
Right.
I'm doing this for the fun of it. And
Right.
if I can't if people aren't interested in me doing this, I'll stop doing it. I don't care.
That's why you get the diversified individuals in here, you know.
Exactly.
We're looking for something different.
Yeah, exactly. And I tried to find a time. I thought before Ken Herron show on Thursday that would be good, but everybody else has jumped right in there. And
right. And it's summertime, less people are home. And there's, frankly, there's a lot of like fair weather friends on YouTube.
Yeah.
The 1 minute they're into you and you're the hot thing. All of a sudden, when they're done getting what they want out of you, subscriptions or whatever, they're gone.
Yep.
And so that's the way it is.
Well, listen, we got a good little group here, and even if Mike, even if nobody watches this thing, it's
Right.
great. It's great just to sit with you guys. I would sit with you on Hangouts and just have a conversation anyway.
Right.
So
yeah, it's and it's good for me. There's nothing good on TV, that's for sure.
How else are you going to talk to guys from Texas and Florida and upstate New York at all the same? Otherwise we wouldn't have met each other.
No,
Right.
that's for sure. That's for sure. It looks like Paul has got to go. Phantom Hodges drone. Thanks for coming in, and we're all going to be going here in a couple of minutes anyway, because it's coming up on 8:00, and
Yeah, I saw that Osby Drone had put up a quick 2-3 minute video of how to put the RTMP link in so you can go live.
Yeah, he did, but then you got a whole nother thing to worry about, besides flying your drone, and you gotta. I have no desire to live stream a flight. A lot of guys are doing that, especially the sunrise sunset guys.
Yeah.
With the live stream, but I don't know. Is it just me?
How do you keep it?
I'm not spending as much time on watching Canadian Drone Hub as I used to. Is that just me, or is that just what happens to you after so much of it?
Well,
It
this
depends on
time
who's on.
Go ahead, Mike.
It for me, I mean, you can't watch everybody every day, for one, and it depends on if they're talking about FPV or if they've got they've got guys where they're saying things I don't even know what they're talking about. So I just kind of stop in and maybe say hello and I'm out of there.
Yeah, that's generally what I do. I go into the chat, hi everybody, good morning, and then of course you got to one by one say hi to everybody, which is nice, and they say hi to you, and I always like that.
Sometimes I don't even want to say hi though. Then you got to say hi to everybody.
It would be great, and if you're on a cell phone, because most of the time I'm out on my back porch when I'm watching this, I got my cell phone, and these guys with the names as long as my arm say hi, Mitch.
I know. I wish everybody would shorten their name.
You go, oh shit, okay, hi at so then you end up typing it wrong anyway, and it doesn't
If you
work.
use one of these things or an iPad, you can't put their names in automatically. You got to type out each.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so rough to do.
Yeah, at least with the chats here, you can hit at and then the first two letters, and it comes up, and away you go. But it's tough. It's tough. In fact, I'm going to go out tonight. I'll probably watch Ken's show and sit and smoke a cigar out on my patio. But I never participate in the chat on any of these shows where you got hundreds of people watching, because the chats run so fast. You can't. You're either going to watch. If you're going to watch the show, you can't pay attention to the chat because it's going by so fast and furious. If somebody were to say hello to you, they'd be, and you didn't see it because it went by so fast, and then you didn't say hello back, you'd hurt their feelings. So
people get awful personal about that stuff.
I know. So I might come in and say hi all, but to sit there and then there's the people in the chat that think that Ken is they'll ask Ken a question and it'll go flying by, and then they'll ask it again, they'll ask it a third time, and then they'll ask, why aren't you answering my question?
Right.
I mean, I'm doing this nothing show here with 8-10 people watching, and I can't even keep up with what's
Right.
going on in the chat. And I hope I don't insult anybody by that, but
No.
you know, you
I will never take anything personally about in that way from any of you guys. I know I can't say hello to everybody.
No.
I have finger trouble. I can't even type that fast. So it's
I
like, so I just, do what I can. And, because I use the iPad all the time. I can't do the automatic. I'm on the computer now, but I don't even know how to do that automatic thing.
Oh, you
What
don't?
do you do? You click the three dots?
You type at.
You just type at.
If you want to say hi to
Oh.
somebody, say type hi space and hit the at sign. And if it's like an old guy in a drone, type at OL. And as soon as you hit OL, old guy in a drone will pop up. Hit the tab key
Okay.
and then the enter key. And
Gotcha.
yeah, so it is for me to say hello to you. I type HELL. Whoops, let me get my HELLO at MI tab enter, and that gives you the
Right. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
But I'm usually on the iPad, but I only open up the laptop once in a while. By the fall, when I'll be indoors more, I hope to have a new desktop in my office where I can really commit to being on the computer and having a better time. If we're still doing this stuff, I hope we're still doing this stuff, live stuff in the fall. And as long as somebody tunes in, I'll do it. I look forward to it. I enjoy this. I like playing Radio Star here. I like, I set the studio up. It's fun to play with the gadgets and push the buttons. And I don't get too carried away with it, but
no, it's good to see what other people are doing with their drones too, besides yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to share my beginner FPV experiences, for better or worse, with some people who might want to get into it. And I hope maybe that if people say, well, if that old fart can do it, I can do it.
Well, I was surprised at the capabilities of that blue one.
It's amazing. It's that little blue 85X. Yeah. It's pretty neat. And I'm seriously thinking on this new build that I'm doing to that new dual camera that they're coming out with. It's not out yet. They haven't. It's not available yet. It's in pre-order. It's supposed to be the end of May, so that's now. It's called the Tarsier or Tarsier, depending if it's a CADX Tarsier, Tarsier, and it's two cameras, two lenses, one on top of the other. One is the FPV camera, one is the high def, shoots in 4K, and it's the size. Both units are the size of in the same size case as the single little FPV camera right now. And then there's a board that goes in your stack that's got the the DVR on it, and that's where you put your SD card, and it records at 70 megabits at 4K. That's fast. I mean, that's
amazing
that's
faster than a Mavic, original Mavic Pro.
Yeah, the original Mavic Pro is at 60.
Yeah,
the Mavic 2 is at 100. Yeah.
So you probably with that would, and I may hold out. I bought this little red camera I showed you earlier, the little run cam. I had bought that to put in my original Tyro 99 because the reviews I saw said that the camera that came with the Tyro 99 was such junk and garbage. It was worthless. Don't use it.
Those one cams are hugely popular, though.
Yeah, but I built the Tyro 99 and I threw this junk garbage, don't use a camera in there, and it's terrific. The picture is just as good as any other camera. And then I saw another review where the guy said, oh yeah, that's right, it's got a great looking camera in it. So I don't know, maybe I saw an earlier review, but that was like a $29 camera.
Does that come down to the TVL? Does it come down to the TV lines?
Yeah, but there's also the color, the TV, TVL 600, anything above 600 is because you're looking at it in a goggles is going to be fine, but some of these new ones are 1200 TVLs. but whether you can even see that resolution on a screen is hard to say. Plus, the picture you see in the goggles, you're getting a lot of interference and breaking up and all that, which is why you want to have some kind of a camera on your drone recording the flight itself.
Right.
Looking at the DVR footage from the goggles is okay, and it's a great idea to always record the DVR footage, because if you were to lose the drone, it went down somewhere, you can look at the footage and get a clue from the last few frames of the footage about where it went.
Right.
Which is why that rescue GPS thing is kind of cool, because if you display the coordinates way down, say at the bottom of your on-screen display, and you're recording that with the DVR, then you can go back to the instant replay and see the last coordinates of the drone. And then with your cell phone, you can almost probably walk right to it. So that there are reasons, even if you don't want to watch the video, of recording the DVR. And then some of these flight controllers have SD cards that go in them, and they have what they call a black box recorder, and it records virtually everything that's happened, like what DJI drones do, where they can the flight log, where they can rebuild, tell you what the stick movements were, what the motor draw was, but all that stuff is recorded to troubleshoot if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that quite yet.
Yeah, they have the pilot and the cube. I love flight controllers.
Well, guys, I got to head out of here.
Yeah, we all do, because
I gotta hit
Ken
the head
Hearn
before
tells
I
me
close.
Ken Hearn is coming on. So,
Right.
so
Pigeon jerky or whatever.
pigeon jerky. So I'll tell you what, it's 8:00. Let's call it a night. I didn't think we were going to make it this long, but thanks for coming in, guys, and thanks for hanging in there with me. And let me play my theme song here.
Mike, good seeing you again, brother.
You too, Jim. And we had good audio tonight. We're getting lucky here.
First time.
I know.
Yeah, all of us. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah. So,
All right, and
all right.
hang on a second here. A little round of applause for my guests, and we
Like-
will see you.
Closing at a blues club, man.
There you go. Yes, sir. Here, let me crank up the music, and with that, everybody, take the rest of the day off. Go play with your drones, and we'll see you next Thursday, 6:00, and in the various chat rooms. All right. Okay.
Bye, guys. Bye, everybody else.
All right. Good night, everybody in the chat room. Thomas Sullivan, Exploration Obsession, Phantom Hodges Drone, Gary at Brand Aerials, whoever else is left. See you later. I'm out of here.
Bye-bye.